Okay. Ow. Motherfucker! God. Fuck. Ow. Ow. Fuck, dude. Come on, you fucker! Holy fuck, Hiya! What are you doing?
In this series, we're going to be taking a look at every single Hiya Exquisite basic figure in the Godzilla line, every repaint, reissue, 2.0, whatever they put out. We're going to be taking a look at them all in release order. Let's get started.
Let's just get this out of the way right now. If you're getting this figure or the base figure or probably even the 2.0 coming out later, do yourself a favor, cut a little portion of that ring off of the socket of the tail. I didn't get any good footage of me doing this, but here is an example of what the tail socket looks like. Just take an X-Acto knife, stick the blade in there, and just rotate the tail socket around the blade or the blade around the tail socket, either way. Just shave off just a tiny bit of plastic, then heat up the socket with a hairdryer, and then you should finally be able to get the tail socketed onto the fucking ball joint of the base of the tail. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video review today. We are, of course, taking a look at the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic King Ghidorah 2019 Gravity Beam version. Interesting to know, just like the previous video, the Flameborn Rodan, the box actually doesn't mention anything about this being a Gravity Beam version. If you are looking for this particular version, you're going to have to pay attention to the box art and just know what you're looking at based on the product promo images. This is primarily going to be a repaint with a few extra goodies, but we're going to go over that a little later. Let's go right into paint and detail, as that's going to be visually the most distinct difference. So, the main thing you're getting with this figure is it's going to get this nice, shiny gold paint job from top to bottom. Now, the wings actually aren't quite as golden as I was thinking they were going to be. They actually aren't that much different than the base Ghidorah wings, but here there's going to be more of a glossy finish. But where this golden paint job is really going to shine is going to be on this underbelly scaling going up and down the entire figure. These were more of a pale, almost bone color on the original figure. Here they are a very nice, shiny gold, and that is, just like the original figure, going to extend from underneath the jaw all the way down to underneath the godforsaken tails. Now, the rest of the figure, the body and the scales, that is going to be a little more gold than the base figure, but again, it's not actually that much different. It's just going to have a little more of a glossy paint application. It's also going to be a little flatter. Not to say that it looks bad, but the original had a lot more dark shading going on, accenting all the muscles, especially in the back. Here, they opted to kind of let the gold accent itself. And again, just look how shiny that is. It looks very nice. It catches light very nice. This is going to be especially true for these heads. Now, the sculpt is going to be exactly the same, but they've gone back and refined the paint job on these heads. These heads are going to be very consistent with the rest of the necks, and that's going to be this shiny gold, but the horns are going to have almost more of a bronze coloring faded out to the tips of the horns there. So overall, paint, phenomenal. Sculpted detailing is going to be exactly the same. It's remarkable. There's not much more I can say about the sculpted detail on this figure that I haven't said on the previous figure. So let's talk about articulation. Again, it's going to be more or less the exact same, with a few differences and a few tolerance tweaks, so let's get right into it. We're going to start with the tails. Unfortunately, you're just not going to get much movement out of them. These are all ball-jointed segments, but all you're really going to get from the tails is you're going to be able to splay them left to right. And even then, honestly, I don't really want to do much more with them because I'm worried about them popping off. And if they do that, I'm fucked. Honestly, just like I mentioned in the last video about this figure, I would have liked to see the tails longer. I just kind of think these tails are a little short. Don't know if that's accurate or not to the movie, but it doesn't look that right to me. The tails there just seem a little short. Moving on to the thighs here. These are, of course, on ball joints. You're going to get a pinned hinge here and a pinned hinge here. It can only go about 90 degrees, but then it can also rotate. At the lower ankle, whatever you want to call it, can hinge just shy of 90 degrees like so, and it can straighten out like so. The waist is on a ball joint, although you're not going to get much out of it. Okay, let's talk about these necks now. So, just like the original, yes, these necks are on a number of segmented ball joints, but they are sculpted with a curve. So, articulation is a little inherently limited. You can get them looking forward like so, and it looks quite nice doing that. But getting them to look up is going to have this curve built into it because of the sculpt. That is about as far as you can get them to look up naturally. And they do look up very nice. It's just not going to be straight. They did tweak the tolerances a little bit. And I'm not sure if they added a new joint or if they just extended joints. But here at the base of the necks, there is an added point. You get like a clicker or two out of the base of the neck. And for some reason on mine, this neck is like hyperextended, so I actually can get a lot of movement out of that one, but not on this one and not on the middle one. Very bizarre. Looking down though, that's about the best you're gonna get right there. All right, once again, let's talk about these wings. As I mentioned in the original video for this figure, these wings, every single joint on the wing here, those are all revolver joints. These are not ball joints. It will be very easy to break the wings if you do not know how revolver joints work, if you try and force the joints to go in a way they're not supposed to go. With that said, yes, the wings do still split just like the original. So that comes apart, and that one comes apart. This also separates from this lower segment, which again is independently on a revolver joint. And then that is a massive revolver joint right there. So you can hinge the wing down like so and rotate it independently. And then again, there's another joint of some kind connected to the base of the figure. I still haven't quite figured out if it's a revolver joint or a big ball joint, but I'm pretty sure it's a big revolver joint because it doesn't want to move completely up or down, but it will move like that. So I'm going to just assume that's a revolver joint. But I am pleased to report that they did tweak the tolerances on these revolver joints. You still need to be careful. I cannot stress that enough, but you will have a much easier time handling this figure with these joints. Look at that. With basically no effort, you can rotate these all around. In fact, it's so much better to handle that the whole thing just wants to rotate around. So let's see if I can actually get this in the walking mode this time for realsies. Evidently, I still suck at doing this. Yeah, that's that seems about right. Look, I've always been terrible at getting this figure in this pose. This is about the best that I can manage on the original figure, and it seems that this is about the best that I can manage on this figure. The joints do move a lot smoother. That is for sure a thing. Getting these portions of the wings in this position, very nice. Did not take that much effort at all. What I still am just a little perplexed by is what Hiya wants me to do with the base of the shoulder there, and what I'm supposed to do about these damn segments. These segments are still very frustrating to deal with in this pose because they just don't really go anywhere. Look at that. They're just kind of getting in the way. And also the shoulders being large revolver joints means that you can't like bend it forward like I think I'm supposed to do. I'm not the biggest fan of this pose, but I do appreciate that you can do this. This is still to this day a first. No one else has done this on an articulated Ghidorah figure. And I would be shocked if anyone else did this on an articulated Ghidorah figure. This is very impressive, even if it is a little janky. Now, due to those revolver joints, something else you can do with the wings is you can actually lower the wings. So it looks more like the SH Monster Arts with the wingspan wider and the wings kind of lower. All you gotta do for that is detach the main wing section and then just bring the revolver joint down, and it basically covers up that small wing joint. Do note that you're no longer supporting the wings with this smaller wing section. You're kind of putting a lot of weight on that revolver joint. So if you are going to do this, you will need to use one of the many included stands. Now, I'm not actually going to bust these open. This is the same pack of accessories that the original figure came with. But do note that these stand arms are the newer Hiya stand arms with screws in them. You get 3 stand bases with this. You get 2 wing cradle pieces and a body cradle piece. I don't think you need those for this figure unless you're doing this specific look. Even the body cradle, you don't need. This figure holds itself very well over time. I have my base Ghidorah on a shelf. I've had it on a shelf for, what, 2 years now? Never had any stability issues. The one thing that I would say you want that body cradle for is if you are going to have the figure leaning forward down like that, that's where the body cradle really comes in clutch. But that's not the only accessory that this release comes with. No, this figure also is going to include 3 gravity beam accessories. Oh yes. These gravity beams are pretty nice. Look at that. You have a nice curved electric beam as it goes out into this like electric tentacle looking thing. This does look pretty accurate to how it was in the movie too. To plug these in, all you gotta do, bring in Ghidorah again, find the teeth marks on the gravity beams right there, just slide it onto the tongue, clamp the jaw back down, boom, and there is a gravity beam. That's all you need to do, guys. There's no stands, there's no supports for the gravity beams, there's no plugs for them, so even the 3 arms that this kit comes with, they don't work for these, but you don't really need them. These stay in pretty securely. And before I forget, yes, you can use the gravity beams on the base Ghidorah if that's a look that you prefer. And here we have our 2 Hiya Toys Ghidorahs side by side. Holy shit, does this take up a lot of space. Let me just tell you, this is basically taking up my whole set right here. These figures are fucking massive, guys. Now, while we have this beautiful dual Ghidorah setup going on, let's do some size comparisons just like this to really demonstrate just how colossal these figures are. So, first up, here we have the Hiya Toys King of the Monsters Godzilla. Absolutely dwarfed by these 2. I can't stress enough just how much of a sight to behold this is. Having 2 figures like this, here's how this figure is going to look next to the Hiya Toys female Muto. There is going to be the Hiya Toys Flameborn Rodan, the Hiya Toys King of the Monsters Mothra, SH Monster Arts Godzilla, and a whole gaggle of other figures I've been using as size comparisons. So, Gravity Beam Ghidorah, what's the consensus here? How did Hiya do on the second go-round with Ghidorah? This is, overall, a step up, I would say. On the whole, this is an improvement from the original figure. In terms of it being a repaint, I think that's really going to come down to personal preference. Personally, I kind of prefer the base figure in terms of the paint applications over this figure. This figure does look very nice. I could absolutely see why you would prefer this look. It definitely looks more traditional Toho Ghidorah, but I kind of like the more natural, desaturated look of the base figure. I think that still could have used some improvements in the paint, but who knows? Maybe we'll see a third attempt at another Ghidorah. But besides the paint job, again, that's all personal preference. Yeah, this is an improvement no matter how you slice it. The tolerances out the box are an improvement. It comes with unique accessories, the gravity beams. All the stands that this figure comes with are an improvement from the last one. Even if they are the same things, they come with the newer Hiya stands, so by default, they're an improvement. Unfortunately, the tails aren't an improvement. That I think they could have tweaked that for this figure. This feels more like Hiya was in the process of doing a repaint anyway, and they were trying to implement a few changes based on feedback where they could, but didn't have the resources or time to really commit to making some drastic changes. If you're looking to get a Ghidorah right now, as of this video is posted, this is the one I would recommend between this or the original. With that being said, I do have to break the format of this video series a little bit to talk about the elephant in the room, which is that, yeah, we have a third Ghidorah on the way. Very soon, in fact. The MonsterVerse Ghidorah 2.0 looks to be a combination of what this figure offers and what the base figure offers. It comes with the gravity beams, it comes with a newer paint job, it comes with better figure engineering, hopefully better tails. I guess we'll find out soon. So it's a bit of a tricky conversation. This figure and I think the base figure are still in stock a lot of places. You can still find these. And so I'd say if you're looking to get one now, maybe for a late holiday present, maybe you just don't care for how the 2.0 looks, maybe you can find these on a discount. Yeah, I'd say the Gravity Beam one is the option, but if you're not quite there yet on the Gravity Beam version, I would say just to wait. Wait for the 2.0. Unless you just don't care about the 2.0, unless you just don't care about the base figure, unless you just really like a golden Ghidorah. That's what this figure is going to offer you that no other Ghidorah from Hiya is going to offer you. This is going to be the equivalent of the Monster Arts special color version Ghidorah. It's also worth noting that only this version of Ghidorah, not the original, not the 2.0, only this one is going to have a feature that no other Ghidorah is compatible with. Ooh, whatever could I be talking about? We'll find out in just a couple videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, see you.